This is a tutorial on how to do pictures and text boxes in Microsoft Word. Oftentimes you might want to put a picture on your Word document. You might want to kind of make something more clear with a visual element so you can insert a picture. A text box allows you to basically place text anywhere. You're not basically constrained. You're not really stuck with kind of where the cursor is. You can put the text anywhere, so it's a lot more flexible. In order to insert a picture though, you have to get a picture. If you already don't have one on your computer, you can download one from the internet. So this first part is how to download a picture from the internet. So I go to my browser and I search up something like meme template. And I look for one. For example, this one right here of SpongeBob. Now, I don't want to download this one right here. This one's going to be small. It's probably going to be blurry. It's going to be pixelated. What I do instead is I click on it and I do this one. I'm going to download this one. What I do is I right click on the picture and I say save image as. And when I do save image as, I'm going to pick my area. Again, hopefully my OneDrive, Computer Science, Word, and I'm going to save it. Now, if you look right here, the name of it is something kind of hard to recognize. It's a bunch of letters and numbers. So I'm always going to rename my picture. I'm never going to leave it like this. I'm always going to rename it. So for example, SpongeBob meme. That way I can locate it easily. Again, always rename your files. Save. And if you see, it's now downloaded to my computer. So if I go back to Word, I can now insert the picture. I've downloaded it to my computer. I'm now going to insert it. To insert it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Insert tab right here, and then here's Pictures. It's got like the two mountains with the sun. That's the Pictures logo icon. I click on it, and I'm going to say this device, and probably by default it's going to be my Pictures folder, but I saved it in my OneDrive, so I'm going to go up to my OneDrive, go into my various folders, and there's the SpongeBob meme. So I'm going to select it by double clicking, or I can click it and click insert. And I now have my meme template on there. I can resize it by dragging on the corners as I need to. Generally, I like to resize it from the corner because that keeps the same proportion. It keeps the same kind of length and width. Now, here's the thing. For most computers, by default, what's called the layout options, or what's called the wrap text, is going to be in line with text. What that means is I can't just drag it anywhere. The picture is kind of stuck with the text. I can press enter and I can kind of move it that way, but that's not very flexible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the layout, or I'm going to change what's called the wrap text. And where I find this is I go either to kind of the corner and I go to layout options, or in picture format, which by the way is only visible when I click on the picture. See, it's gone, it's there, it's gone, it's there. It will only appear when I select the picture. So again, either in layout options or here in wrap text. See the same symbol? It's like the upside down, like black rainbow, black arc. When I click on it, I usually want to choose something like this one, behind text. And the reason for that is I want the picture to be behind the text. And I'm going to put the text right here. So again, right now when I click on it, I can't move it. So instead I click on here and I change it to behind text, or right here, behind text. Now I can move it around. I can move it wherever I want. So now I've inserted my picture, I've changed it so I can move it around. The last thing to do is to put some text on it. With a meme, often there's like an area where you'll put your text, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a text box on top of it. To do a text box, I go back to the Insert tab, I go to text box right here, and there's a couple things I could do. I could pick like a simple text box, or I could do draw text box. It's your choice. I'm going to do draw text box. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw the text box on where the paper is. So I'm going to click and drag, And I'm going to draw it kind of right here. And maybe I'll adjust it a little bit, just like that. Now I have a text box there. If I click outside of it, you can still see that there's the line around it, but here's the text box. If I type inside a text box, words appear. Now, the words are probably going to be a bit too big for the size of this paper, so what I could do is I could like resize the meme. And resize the text box as I need to, like that. Or what I could do is I could go to the home tab and I could change the size of my text. Either work. So I could say something like, only get points if you submit work to Schoology. Because that's true. Of course, some students do this. They throw that paper in the fire. So now I technically have a meme. I have my text right here. It's a text box, but I might want to change a few things about it. I might want to make the line invisible. And what I can do there is I can click on the text box and I can go up here to shape format. And what I can do with that is I can change some things. I can change, for example, the shape outline. The outline is basically the box around the text box. What I can do is I can say no outline. And now I don't have an outline anymore. But as you can see, it's still a bit obvious because SpongeBob's fingers are kind of being covered up. So I also might want to, in shape format and around here, I might want to change the shape fill to no fill. Now it's basically completely invisible. And if I move it kind of outside, see how it kind of even is completely invisible there? So that's something that you can also do, is you can change both the fill and the outline to no fill. Shape format right here to make it completely invisible except for the text. If you want to have like an orange box or a yellow box, you can change the fill like that. Or if you want to have kind of a like red outline or a purple outline, you can do it like that. But the point is, the shape of the text box with like the color of it, they're right here. If I want to change kind of how the font looks though, I can basically change the fill here. So I can say, I want this to be red. I want this to be yellow. I want this to be green. Generally, black is good if it's on like white, but there's another type that you might want to do, but I'll get to that in a second. The point is, I have my text box on top of my picture, and they both can move around freely. I can move the picture around. I can move the text around. If I want to move them both, I can click on one and then I can hold down the control key and I can click on the second one and see how now they're both selected. Now they'll move around at the same time. So if I click on one and then I control click another one, I can select both. Sometimes it takes a bit of effort to do. Sometimes I have to click on the top one first and then the second one to get it to work, but it should work after a couple of tries. All right. The last thing to note about text is sometimes you want text to appear not on like a white area, but on top of the picture itself. And if you do that, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to use a certain type of font. So again, I select my stuff. I'm going to change my shape fill to no fill, my shape outline to no outline. But this time, I'm going to say, text that goes on a picture. Kind of hard to see. Like, you can see it, yes, but it can be a little bit awkward. So what I recommend here is if you have a meme where the text goes on top of the picture, here's what I recommend. You use a certain font that is a bit more kind of obvious. A very common one is called Impact. IMPACT, Impact. So see how it's now kind of completely black and it's filled in? It's going to be easier to see. But there's another way to make it even easier than that. If I go back to shape format and I go to text fill, I'm going to change the text fill to white. And I'm going to change the text outline to black. This right here, and I'll make it even bigger by going back to home, so like 30. And I'll resize my text box. This right here, impact text with a white fill and a black outline, is pretty much the easiest to read of all of kind of the meme fonts. Obviously, if you have kind of an area that's already white, you can use just a standard font. But if you want one that really stands out, choose a font like Impact, and then a white fill and a black outline. Okay, so just to review, to insert a picture, you get the picture from the internet, you download it to your computer, then you go to Insert, Pictures, this device. To insert a text box, you click on the text box and you choose either a simple text box or draw text box. When you click on things like the picture, you'll have the menu for picture format. When you click on the text box, you'll have shape format, and you can change things in those menus. For example, with the picture, I again might want to change the wrap text of it, or right here, so it's behind text. And then for the text box itself, I might want to change things like having the fill be invisible, or the outline be invisible, or both. Or I might want to change what the text looks like with the text fill or the text outline. There's many other things that you can do with pictures, but this is just one example. But that is how you make a picture in Microsoft Word and how you can put text on it using a text box.